Okay, so let's begin with today's webinar. So, Power BI deep dive. So, we'll be talking about the different updates in Power BI as well as tabular modeling. So, I have with me my colleague Ankita, who will be talking about Power BI updates for the last month and this month as well. So, it will be divided into online updates as well as desktop updates. And also, I have Farooq with me, who will be talking about how to set up analysis services connector in a particular environment so that it will work with SSAS Tabular model. So before going on to agenda, so we are happy to announce that CloudFronts will be publishing the first custom visual, that is the dial gauge, and it will be released soon on the Power BI Visual Gallery. So backend team, that is our developers, have worked quite hard to get this done, and finally it will be going live soon in few days. Okay, so we'll begin with agenda for today's webinar. We'll have a quick recap on the previous Power BI webinars. We have been conducting webinars since June from the release of Power BI, and then we'll be talking about SSAS Tabular Modeling, introduction, features of SSAS, and how to set up analysis services connector, and finally we'll have a small demo on how to implement SSAS Tabular Model with Power BI. Then finally, we'll have a look at the updates, that is a desktop update as well as online updates, followed by Q&A session. A quick recap. So what's new in Power BI? We started with Power BI, its functionality, features, the architectural diagram, the working of Power BI. Then we went deep dive into Power BI and also we have demonstrated on real-time analytics by using CRM Online. And then we had webinar in various months to demonstrate the features of Power BI. You can have a look at the video recordings as mentioned in the slide deck. Okay, to begin with SSAS tabular modeling. So what are tabular models? So they are basically in-memory database models and they are authored using SQL Server Data Tools, that is the SSDT, which is the development environment for your tabular models. So in this tabular model, you can import data from different multiple sources. In our case, we'll be importing data from SQL Server database, and then we can enrich this model by adding relationships, calculated columns, measures, KPIs, and hierarchies. And later on, once these models are done, we can deploy this model to an instance of analysis services database where we can connect a reporting tool, that is in our case, it is Power BI, to this tabular models. And finally, we can process and also secure these models by using a role-based security. So for this demo, we'll be having a look on how to create a model and connect to Power BI. So what are the features of SSAS Tabular? So first of all, it is easy to use. So it's quite easy as compared to multidimensional models. And you can scale this model to gigabytes or terabytes of data. And you can also, it's easy for integration to different sources. Then it has high performance and they're highly secured. Okay, so before moving on to the next slide, I would like to show you a small demo on how you can implement a tabular model. So I'll first go to my SSDT, that is SQL Server Data Tool. I'll create a new project. So I'll select Analysis Services and then I'll select Analysis Services Tabular Project. I'll give this project any name, for example, Webinar SSAS Test. Okay, I'll click OK. So I'll select my workspace. Right now I'm working on my local host. I'll test the connection and hit OK. So once this is done, so we can now import data in this tabular model. So I'll go to model, so import from data source. So I'll select Microsoft SQL Server as a source is a SQL Server. I'll click next. As a server is a local host, I'll click dot and I'll select the database. So I have one database in SQL Server, that is SSAS Webinar Test. I'll select this. Okay, so connection succeeded. I'll click next. Okay, so I'll connect and then I'll select a list of tables. For example, I want final underscore opportunity. Okay, I'll select opportunity underscore final table and I'll hit finish. So what it will do is it will import all the data from SQL Server database in my data model. Okay, so 135 rows transferred, so it's successful. I'll close this dialog box. So this is the data from SQL Server. So this is similar to something like Power Pivot model. If you are familiar with Excel Power Pivot model, so you find it much easier to work with SSAS Tabular model as well. Okay, so as in case of Power Pivot model, so you can also create dimensions, so you can create measures, you can create calculated columns, hierarchies, KPIs, and so on. So for instance, I'll create one measure. So that is, for example, I'll create one measure as total estimated value. So these functions are same as DAX functions. So I'll create a measure as sum of estimated value. So I'll select the column as estimated value. I'll hit enter. Okay, so I've created one measure as total estimated value. You can also format this in the properties dialog. So I'll select it as currency. So all right, so in a similar way, you can also create calculated columns by right clicking over here. You can click on insert column and likewise you can work with. So once this is done, so you can deploy this model to an instance of analysis services database. So to do so, what you can do is you can right click on your solution explorer and you can deploy this model. So once you click on deploy, so it will deploy to your analysis services instance. So I'll open this management studio and I've already connected over here to analysis services instance. So you can see over here. So I'll refresh this database. Okay, so I have over here webinar underscore SSAS underscore test. So this is analysis services database, which we have deployed just now. You can check the table which we have, that is opportunity underscore final. So this was a table available. All right, so this is how you can create a new project in SSAS Tabular, and you can create measures, or you can also work with calculated columns, KPIs, and then finally you can deploy to SSAS Tabular instance. Okay, so with this, I have with me Farooq, who will be explaining about analysis services connector before we are moving on to Power BI. So let me hand over to Farooq, who will explain you more in this, about this in detail.
Hi, thanks Ashish. Hi, this is Farooq Ismail. Basically today we will have a look of the what is the prerequisites for installing analysis services connector on-premises server, and we will have the complete overview about this complete feature about the analysis services connector and what is the prerequisites, how we can deploy this. And this webinar we are not included the complete installation step by step. Because it is very pretty simple, we can easily install. The installation is very easy process. Just we need to give the credential of Power BI as well as the on-premises Active Directory. Once the credential is matched, it will automatically establish the connection between local SQL Server analysis services to Power BI analysis services connector. Uh, Basically, what is the Power BI analysis services is basically with Power BI users in your organization can now see on your on-premises SQL Server analysis services data and metrics in a whole new way. Before user can connect the analysis services model as a data source, Power BI analysis services connector need to be installed and configured on the on-premises server. The connector just acting as a proxy between analysis services and Power BI with quickly and very securely. And basically prerequisites, the connector can be run on any domain computer. It doesn't require to be run this connector on your local system or analysis services server. It can be work on any domain joined system. If users sign into the Power BI with their work email ID, then there is no requirement of Active Directory sync between on-premises Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. If users log in with Power BI with default domain of Microsoft like onmicrosoft.com, in this case you have to set up a directory synchronization with local Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. Once synchronized completely, then users can log in with their work email address to access analysis services through Power BI. Basically, this connector acts as a bridge between Power BI cloud services and on-premises analytics services server. Data transfer between Power BI and analysis services connector is secured through Azure Secure Service Bus. The service bus creates a secure channel between Power BI and on-premises analysis services and through outbound connection. There is no any inbound connection is required to open on the on-premises firewall end. And secondly, the server where we are going to install Power BI analysis services connector, if the already Power BI data management gateway is installed on the system, we need to be removed first, then only we are able to install the Power BI analysis connector. Since we cannot exist both the applications like data management gateway as well as analysis server connector on the same system, we need to uninstall it first, or else we can go with the different server to install Power BI analysis connector. In single analysis services instance can be many tabular modules. A connector is configured for a single instance, so you have multiple tabular module, but all they are on the same instance. You will only have to install and configure one connector. If you have multiple analysis services database, then you have to set up multiple analysis connector, because each analysis database analysis instance will have to different Power BI analysis services connector. One connector will be supported for the one analysis database only, one analysis services instance only. And next, we will look this environment is basically what we have set up in our environment for this demo environment. Basically, we go subscribe Power BI through Office 365, and we go subscribe Power BI. And by default, every subscription of Office 365 component by default is gets the Azure Active Directory included. And on premises, we go already Active Directory domain controller implemented, as well as we go implemented directory sync to sync all the Active Directory users credential from on premises Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. Once the replication, once users credential replicated to Azure Directory services, it can be used in Power BI or any other Office 365 services. And thirdly, we have the SQL Server database installed, and we have installed SQL Server analysis services on the same box, as well as Power BI analysis connector also in the same box. The requirement is we have to set up all these server in the single domain. If we have installed multiple domain, if you have the multiple domain environment, the domain should be properly configured with the trust relationship. Otherwise, it cannot be worked. So this is the basic requirement of analysis services connector, as well as the what is the infrastructure we have set up for this particular demo. And Ashish can take over to show about the Power BI dashboard as well as the connectivity. Yeah, Ashish, you can take it forward from now.
Yeah, thank you, Farooq. So as Farooq has already explained about the setup of Azure, setup of analysis services connector. So let's have a look. So if I open my analysis services connector, which we have set up, so this is the connector setup which we have done on this environment. So this is how it will look once you have already installed and set up analysis services connector. You are connected to it, will show server name, and you are good to go. All right, so what we will do is we'll open our reporting tool, that is Power BI, and we'll connect to SSAS Tabular instance. So I have a new Power BI file over here. So what I'll do is I'll click on get data, and I'll connect to analysis services database, and I'll connect by using a server name, and database name is optional. You can mention or there are two options over here. First one is explore a tabular model using a live connection, and second one is import data from multidimensional or tabular model. So what are these two options? So by using the first option, we are directly querying a tabular model so that we are not exporting or we are not taking any data into our Power BI model. So we are directly querying the tabular model. In case of second option, we are importing the data into a Power BI desktop tool and then we are working on it. So that's the difference. So first we'll explore this tabular model live connection. I'll click OK. So this is the model which we have deployed. There is webinar SSAS test. So it contains opportunity final dimension, that is the table, and one measure. Likewise, if you have many measures or calculated columns, it will be displayed over here. I'll hit enter or I'll click OK. So once I hit OK, so you can see over here, as it is a live connection, don't have any option for data modeling or creating relationships and so on. So you'll only find a direct model over here. So there's a table which has been imported, and also there is a measure, that is total estimated value, which we have created in tabular model. So this is how you will connect, and now hence you can start working and you can start creating reports in Power BI. So for instance, I'll click account name by estimated value and I'll create a report of column chart, and yeah, you're good to go. Now you can also publish this to a Power BI account. So for example, I'll give this report a name, webinar SSAS. So we can give any name over here. And once I publish this, it will go to a Power BI account. So so this is the data set which I have imported or published just now. So you can see over here, you also have a report which we made. And one good thing about SSAS Tabular Live Model is, as we have already installed Analysis Services Connector, so we do not require to schedule refresh. So it will automatically refresh as soon as the data is updated in a tabular model. So this is one of the good feature of a connector. Also, you can directly connect to your tabular model from get data by using database option, SQL analysis services, and we have already installed this connector, so you are able to see what all models you have in your tabular instance. So similarly, I can connect this model. I'll select this and click connect. So I have over here the same data set or the same model. So again, I can work with this. I can start playing with this model as well. So this is the advantage of using an analysis services connector and direct querying your data to the analysis services database. Okay, so that's all from my side. So with this, I'll hand over to Ankita, who will be demonstrating more about how we can uh, more about Power BI updates.
Thank you, Ashish. Hello, everyone. This is Ankita Anchan, and I'll be taking you through few of the Power BI updates. For this session, I have divided into two parts, that is updates in Power BI desktop tool and updates in Power BI online services. Specifically from the desktop tool part, I'll be demonstrating the listed updates. Place axis for scatter chart, horizontal slicer, duplicate pages, change text in card and table matrix, basic automatic data features, and interaction between the visuals. So now let's get some data into the desktop tool to demonstrate. So whatever data from the database is available, I'll be taking as a sample data and connecting it to our Power BI desktop tool. So the first feature I'll be talking about is the play axis in scatter chart. Scatter chart visualization is already available in the visualization pane, but the advantage or improvement in the visualization is we can have a video like features with this. This was available in the Excel, which is now there in our Power BI desktop tool as well. So, okay, I'm connecting to my database. Okay, these are the, I'll connect to the opportunity table, which is there. And okay, so first is the scatter chart visualization I'll be demonstrating. So let's take a look. Okay, I'll be taking the scatter chart. Along with this, we will be getting some data into it, say account name as details. Then let me take some budget amount in the x-axis, and then we have an option here saying play axis. In that, if I put some date filters, that is modified on, so it will automatically convert into a play chart. Now as you can see, we have converted the scatter chart into a playing option. Now few of the formatting available, I can change the data colors. I can get some darker color to get a good visualization. I can fill the points and just take a look. When I click on this play, it will automatically start depending on the date, time or day filters from the date. So this is a visualization. If I want to forward it, I can click on the point. It will automatically get forwarded. So this was all about the first. Now next is in slicer visualization, we had the default vertical view for us, but now with this update we have horizontal view as well. Now this is a slicer visualization I have selected. Now in the formatting option in general tab, we have orientation which says horizontal. So my slicer has been converted into an horizontal part. Other few updates in this is we can select single select on. If I put it off, I can select multiple options at the same time. At the same time, I can change the font size of the header. I can change the background color and font color for the header. Similarly, for the items, I can change the font color and even the background color to give it a good visualization effect. So now slicer is available in horizontal view as well. Now next option is, as we can duplicate the page in our online services, we can do it in the desktop tool as well. Just right click on the page you want to duplicate and click on duplicate page. Automatically my page 1 has been created with a duplicate of page 1. Now this is useful when we have to create same visualization with same data but with different filters. So the developer need not create the same visualization again and again and waste time. He can automatically duplicate the page and add filters to his new page. So the next is change the text size in the card option and tabular view. So I'll select a card. I want to say display the budget amount in the card. Now before, by default size was displayed in the card. We could not change the size of the card data. So now we have option where we can adjust the size of the data as well as the size of the category it is displaying. If I want that budget amount should be smaller or in the range of the size of the data, I can adjust. So this gives us an good visualization effect adding to our reports. Now next is the basic automatic data features. For that I'll be selecting a column chart. I'll be selecting a column chart with I'll be selecting a column chart. Let me select some data, say account number and budget amount. So instead of account number, if suppose I select some date column into the axis, now what happens is automatically the date is being hierarchied with the hierarchical view of year, quarter, month and day. Now we did not add drill down effect, it gets automatically drilled down saying quarter, month. Now since we have data for the month of September, October and November, the drill down in the quarterly view shows only the third quarter and fourth quarter. Now I can drill down till the date. So date wise feature has been shown with one visualization itself. Okay. Now next is the interaction between the table. If for the slicer I need not get the budget amount to be changed on the in progress mode or in the one mode, I have to click on the slicer. I'll go to the edit option. All the other visualization except the slicer will get an option whether to filter or not to filter. So if for example I card of budget amount should not filter according to the data, I'll click on not to filter. So now when I click on in progress, my scatter chart and column chart automatically get filtered on the basis of the slicer I choose, but the card remains the same. So this helps us in formatting the visualization interaction which should change and which should remain constant. So this was all about the desktop tool. Now let's take a look on online services. So updates I'll be demonstrating in the online services will be dashboard sharing directly to the user workspace, pin reports page to dashboards, refresh data tiles and know where your data is stored. So let's take a look. So this is my online account with name Ankitanjan. So first I'll be demonstrating the sharing option for the dashboard. I have selected the sales dashboard webinar and I'll be sharing this with Ashish. So I have to enter his email address. If any note or information you have to provide, so you can type in this box. Now, before this update, the user could only access the dashboard shared via his email. He has to click on the link from his email and he could view that dashboard. But now it will automatically go to his dashboard as soon as I press share. So I'm clicking on share. So this sales dashboard is now shared with Ashish. So now it shows that I am the owner and Ashish can view the dashboard. Let's check. So this is account with name Ashish. So you can see that he has automatically got a sales dashboard view on his account. So this makes easy for us to share the data and get the work done. So the next is I'll be demonstrating you the pin options where we can directly pin our complete report to the dashboard. We have an option over here which says pin live page, which will automatically pin the complete report to my dashboard. So I'll select the dashboard, say SSAS demo, and I'll pin this report to the so due to some yes, it has been pinned. So my SSAS demo has the complete report in it. Any changes done in my report will automatically get affected or viewed in the dashboard. We no need to refresh each and every tile in the dashboard again and again. So the next option I'll be talking about is the refresh option. So I'll go to some other dashboard which have so we have a refresh option here saying I'll click on the ellipsis. Now along with the duplicate dashboard we have refresh dashboard tiles option. Now what it will do is before I have to select the data set related to each dashboard and refresh it one by one. But now automatically with this refresh it will automatically get the data from which data set the tile was pinned to the dashboard, and automatically all the data set will be refreshed. So we get the complete tiles in my dashboard refreshed with one click itself. So the next update I'll be demonstrating is to know where our data is stored. Now user will know to where in Azure Data Center data is being stored for our Power BI. So I have to click on this about Power BI. Now along with the version, activity ID, time, we have the data is your data is stored in Southeast Asia, Singapore. So this makes the user understand that where exactly in the data center his Power BI data is stored. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
If you have any queries, you can ask or you can type in the question box. And also please note, we have a webinar in next month. The tentative date will be 19th Jan. All right. Thanks for attending this webinar. Thank you so much.